Hello, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing another zombies video, this time where I go over all of the field upgrades and explain which ones are usable, what situations they're usable in, and why you should use them / not use them depending on what they are. And the only two that I don't really have leveled up at the moment are Frost Blast and Energy Mine. There are specific reasons for that, reasons that you'll see in this video. So I'm going to jump right into it with what would obviously be from this two that you just shouldn't really use. And I'd say the worst one out of all of them is the Energy Mine. The Energy Mine. It is just the worst one. The reason for this is not particularly because it doesn't do damage or it's not good enough, but you never really use it. And what I mean by this is they don't charge particularly fast, so you don't get many in a row. So you would never really know when to use it or when to save it, because this is one of the things where you have to set up before you actually use it. And if you're getting surrounded by a zombie by the time you've actually used this, the zombies would have downed you and it would do nothing to help you. There are other field upgrades, which I'll come to later, which can get you out of situations and do other things on top of this, but the Energy Mine doesn't really do any of them. So I'm going to go with the upgrades and explain if they help. Increase the maximum charges to 2. Pretty simple. That could help you a bit more because it means that you can hold more, which means you'll use it more often, but it still doesn't mean that you will. What I'm trying to say is that you just won't really use this as much as you would use other things, because there's no situation where it's particularly helpful. If you're trying to revive a downed teammate, there's no point there's no way you could put it that it would help, because the zombies have to run through it. It creates a mine of pure energy that detonates on proximity of enemies. If there's no enemies in the proximity, for example, if they're all flooding you whilst you're trying to revive your teammate and not where the energy mine is, it's not going to do anything to those enemies. Double the size of the blast doesn't really matter, and it detonates 2 times in rapid succession. Never really use it, but to be honest, I don't think I ever want to. If there's more information comes through that this actually works pretty well, then I apologise, but none of my friends have ever used it, really. I think I've used it once and it never helped, so I've got a thing against this one. I think it's just useless. Don't use it. The second one is one that you shouldn't use, but you can. It is helpful. It's not as helpful as the other 3, but Frost Blast, which is the next one, is decent. It is like a baseline one. I feel like if Treyarch were to balance these, which I doubt they ever will, I feel like Frost Blast would be the level they'd be balanced to. Now it's nice because it slow downs enemies and they take additional damage, which basically means they're one shot. You can basically run through them and they'll die, which is pretty cool. It can help when reviving, and unlike the Energy Mine, it actually helps when you're getting swarmed, because it can just freeze the zombies around you. There's a few problems with this one. Although you do get the maximum charges up to 2, there are so many situations where you'd feel like you'd need it, but you just don't have it ready, because it's one of those things you use it so often, and it just doesn't do enough against higher rounds. And then when you're in the early rounds, you feel like you don't want to use it because you want to save it for the higher rounds. Similar situation to the Energy Mine, but I feel like this one is a bit more viable, just because the double the size of the damage blast, the upgrades you can do to it actually help it, unlike with the Energy Mine. So for example, lasting 3 seconds longer, that means you have 3 more seconds for zombies to come into the Frost Blast radius and to be frozen, and therefore to be free kills to you. So I've not got much to say about this one. It's decent. I have nothing against it. Some of my friends use this one and it has helped them revive me and help them get out of sticky situations. So it's a really, really good one to use in that regard. So it's just middle of the road. And moving on. Now these next 3 are very good. All of them are viable, but there's one of them which is only very situational, and I would say out of these 3 that would be the healing Aurora. however you pronounce it. Basically the description: summon beams of energy down on yourself and allies to instantly heal them to full health. That is not the reason you should be using this, and it is not the first upgrade or the second upgrade that you should be using this either, even though the second one is pretty good, but it is that third one. It can revive downed allies. The amount of times that I've saved my teammates with this is unreal. It is really overpowered, because you don't need to stop. You can be miles away from them, literally across the map, the furthest distance. As long as you have a line of sight with them, it will revive them. And not only that, if you are getting towards your teammate to try and revive them and you suddenly get swarmed, if you look at them and you use it, it will knock all the enemies back in the radius that you're in, and for the time that it's active, you and your allies regain health effect that lasts 10 seconds. Basically, you are invincible for 10 seconds. So yeah, this is pretty good. But the reason it's not as good as something that's very similar to it, the Aether Shroud, is because you need to be in a team. It doesn't really work on solos, because the main reason you use it is because the beam revives down allies. So I use it when I'm in my squad. As you can see here, I have a few classes with it active, and these are the main two that I use at the moment, and they both have healing aurora because they're the ones that I use in my team. But as you can see, my solo one, which is my knife, has the ring of fire, because it doesn't work when you're on your own, because there are ones that do what it does better that don't include the beam that revives your down allies. Now the last two, both of them are beautiful. They're both really good choices, and definitely worthy of your crystals to level them up. But the one that I would say is better than them, and this is from experience as you become better at zombies, the one that is better is the Ring of Fire. Now, before I go into the Ring of Fire, I'll say why the Aether Shroud is so good, and I think most of it is pretty obvious, and that would be the fact that you go invisible to all the enemies for a duration of time. As you can see, if you get it up to the second level, it's 8 seconds. So in that time you can revive teammates, shoot zombies, move around, probably teleport to different locations around the map, which is underused, I think, so you should use that more if you're in a sticky situation. The teleport can really help, and it's not that expensive. But also, if you get it up to level 1, it reloads your gun instantly, and that means that you can get in that situation where you're getting surrounded, pop it, use it, shoot all the enemies around you as they're running away from you because you're invisible to them, and then it will disappear, so you'll be visible again, and there will be no zombies around you because you would have killed them all. And also, the third one is a bit iffy, because always when it's something instantly warps you forward, it can put you in a worse situation than you're already in. But the reason that Treyarch put this in the game, most likely, is because they knew that people are going to get stuck in corners a lot, and this is the perfect thing for that. This is why it's so good in solos. This, I think, is for a beginner or someone who's not playing zombies a lot and going for those 50+ rounds. Aether Shroud is really good, and it is perfect for low or new players that are just trying to level up, or if you're just playing solos and you find yourself getting downed a lot. But finally, the reason I have Ring of Fire as my favourite and what I think is the best one is quite simply that it is insane. It's got an area effect where not only does it damage the zombies around you, just like the energy mine and the frost blast, but you also do added damage in it. And this is good for two reasons, obviously. One of them, when you're playing in a team, and you're being surrounded, or there's one of your allies is down, if you pop this, you can almost one-shot any of the zombies in the vicinity. It kills them anyway. And if you're trying to revive, you get that extra time. It's not as helpful when you're reviving, because I've been down quite a few times whilst I pop this, and it does take a while to kill zombies, but it obviously will just give you that little extra time that you need. and that's why I have the healing Aurora in third instead of second or first, because some of the things are just done better than it is, like the Ring of Fire in that area of damage effect. And also the Ring of Fire is great for the higher rounds because of the megatons. That is one of the main things. When you get to those round 50 and above, the megatons are extremely hard to kill if you don't have things like chopper gunners or any type of score streaks, because I've had a Pack-a-Punch 3 ray gun, and me and my friend had to both headshot it constantly for about 30 seconds, maybe 2 whole reloads to kill it, and that's only until it splits. And then when they split, they're so much harder to kill. But if you pop this as you start shooting, you can put that down to half a clip, half a magazine of ammo, and it's really, really good, and you should definitely use this if you're going for those high kill games. So once again, I'll leave this all down to you to try out and take my advice from. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, I appreciate you all. Thank you for supporting me through the last week, and I'll see you guys when on the next upload. Bye bye.